I thought that I would make some banana muffins and kind of share the recipe or recipes that I'm using. Um, for the low FODMAP diet, I don't think that you're supposed to have ripe bananas necessarily. I think that you can have green bananas, but both myself and my daughter are doing the low FODMAP right now to try to readjust our guts, and neither one of us will have green bananas. I personally don't eat bananas, especially right now. I do sometimes, but not right now because of the histamine aspect, and bananas contain histamine, and so, or release histamine, so I do not want to do that. But these bananas are a little bit green, but still on the verge of getting kind of ripe. So I thought that I would just use them now and make some muffins with them with some recipes that I found for low FODMAP banana muffins, which don't really sound very low FODMAP. I think that there's some kinds of sugars in there that you should try to stay away from. To my understanding, you can have maple syrup when you're doing low FODMAP, so that's what I'm going to use in place of sugar, and just not very much of it, just a little bit. And then I got this gluten-free Measure for Measure flour from the King Arthur brand. I've never tried this. I've never actually used any sort of gluten-free flour in baking or anything like that, so this will be my first time, and I just thought that I would kind of share as I go along what I'm doing. I'm kind of, I think, trying to mix between two different gluten-free banana muffin recipes, and I will link them in case anybody else wants to make them. So that is what I'm about to go do right now. So in this recipe, I did not use the full amount of sugar. I didn't use sugar, I used maple syrup, and instead of putting half a cup, I put a little bit less than 1/4. And then I did not use any eggs. And for the milk, I substituted it for the oat milk instead. So I guess I will see how it turns out. The bananas were, I usually do not use bananas for banana bread or muffins or anything until they're very ripe with like a lot of spots on them and stuff. But like I said, I heard that you are supposed to only have green bananas on low FODMAP, or like somewhat green. And so I didn't want to wait too long. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make anyway once that it's cooked, but I figured I wouldn't use like overly ripe bananas since that's something that you're supposed to try to avoid. These are mostly going to be for my daughter, not really for myself, like I said, so hopefully they're okay and they're good. And I'm going to mix them up and put them in the oven. And then she had requested chocolate chips on the top of them. I don't think you're really supposed to have chocolate chips either, but I'm just going to put a few of these on there. This is, I don't know how you pronounce this brand right here, but if anybody is looking for allergen-free chocolate chips, this is free from 14 allergens and sensitizers: dairy, soy, peanuts, tree nuts, gluten, and dairy-free. It's free of a lot of things. So I'm going to put some of these on the top and see how they turn out. They're a little bit different consistency than what I'm used to making, so it should be interesting, you know, if they're good or not. So these came out of the oven a couple of minutes ago, and I'm just going to try them. I'm not going to actually eat them. I'm just going to chew it and see what the flavor tastes like, and then probably spit it out because I don't do well with bananas right now. But they look really nice. I mean, they don't look horrible or anything like that. The texture, like I said, is a little bit different, but I'm not used to baking with no eggs, and I'm also not used to baking with not very ripe bananas or this type of flour. So yeah, for that reason, I guess I don't really know what to expect, but I'm going to just see if the flavor kind of is the same as your typical banana muffin. So a couple of things that I personally noticed about them is that they're a little bit gummy, which I checked the internal temperature of them. They were around 208 degrees, and I think that to be in the place where they are done, they're supposed to be between I think 205 to 210 for gluten-free flour. So technically they're in that range, but at the start of the recipe, I think I was supposed to put them on for 425 degrees for 15 minutes and then lower the temperature to 350 for the rest of the remainder of it, which I didn't do because it sounded like that was if you wanted your muffins to kind of have a dome shape to them. And since this consistency was kind of off as it was, I didn't really care if my muffins looked like that. So I just thought that I would just throw them in at 350 instead. And next time, I think I will start it at a higher temperature just to make sure that it is cooked all the way or whatever. It is cooked all the way, I think, based off of the temperature. But again, the texture is a little bit gummy. Um, but I'm going to try to make some pumpkin muffins next, and hopefully I can learn a little bit as I go, and it will be better the next time. But I thought that I would share the recipe and, you know, share anyway in case somebody who is looking to eat like this wants to make these muffins. Otherwise, the taste of them was very good. So the overall flavor was um, like your typical kind of banana bread flavor. It was a little bit different, but not too much. So it wasn't bad by any means. So I think I would just keep them in a little bit longer and start them off at a higher temperature next time. And my daughter's rating of the muffins was an 8 out of 10, so maybe they are somewhat good.